Hello students, let us continue chapter 3 production and employment. Here are two examples where we can understand very easily related to the lifestyle of Narasimha as well as Rajeshwari in organized sector and unorganized sector. Let us see in detail. Narasimha works in a government office. He attends his office from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. He uses his motorbike in order to travel from house to office, which is about 5 kilometers. He also gets his salary regularly at the end of every month, which he deposited in his bank account. In addition to the salary which he gets, he may also get provident fund as per the rules laid by the government. He even gets medical and other allowances too. Narasimha doesn't go to office on Sundays because it's a paid holiday. When he joined work, he was given an appointment letter stating that all the terms and conditions apply for that work. This is the scenario related to Narasimha in organized sector. I think you're familiar related to the working hours as well as paid leaves and the benefits too in organized sector. Let us focus on the other hand, where workers do a lot of hard work in unorganized sector and what are the terms and conditions apply for them. Here we go. Rajeshwari, who works as a construction worker, she goes for work at 7 a.m. and returns home at 7 p.m. She travels about 8 to 10 kilometers daily for work by bus. Here we can assess the luxurious lifestyle of the person in organized sector and the other worker who travels by bus because she cannot afford for the survival. Construction workers get 1 hour lunch break between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. She gets work only for 10 to 12 days per month. In the remaining days, she has no work at all. And she doesn't get any wage or salary here. She gets just 150 rupees per day as wages. Mostly she is paid the wages on the spot, that too in the evening only. When she works for 3 or 4 days at the same spot, where she is paid after the work only. If they are dedicated, sometimes they even get from the owner. This prevails. She gets more work from February to June. July to January is unseasonal. So we have different types of employment and also unemployment, which will focus seasonal, unseasonal, disguised unemployment. We'll see that in detail later. So here the case of Rajeshwari is a member of the self-help group too in that locality. The government pays some compensation also if somebody expires. If there exists major injury also, the owner as well as government provides certain compensation. There is no help from the government for treatment in accidents while working. She is also a part of that group. So, there is no help from the government treatment in accidents while working. This is a drawback. She is also part of a group that works under mason, laborer. The person who constructs buildings is nothing but mason. There are 6 to 10 workers under each mason. So these are the two examples which we can understand in organized sector and unorganized sector, where two personalities and their lifestyle differs from the jobs which they have opted. Facilities are benefits which we get when we become employees. Focus on sectors. So, hard work as well as concentration are essential when you are choosing any profession. If the profession has benefits, then it is better to opt or prefer. So it is very clear from two pictures here. Narasimha and Rajeshwari illustrate the examples of workers employed in organized as well as unorganized sectors. Do you see the differences in the conditions of work between them? The distinction between organized and unorganized sectors, which help us to understand the working situation of wages faced by the majority of workers in the country. So 92% of workers in India are found in unorganized sector and only 8% find work in the organized sector. This makes the difference between the developed countries and developing countries vast. So if we are able to improve our production facilities with the help of industries, factories, ultimately we can provide employment opportunities to every individual so that we can make it as vice versa. This 8% work in the organized sector should become 92%, whereas 8% who work in the organized sector should become unorganized sector. Then we can say successfully India as a developed country rather than developing country. In rural areas, the unorganized sector mostly comprises landless agricultural laborers, small and marginal farmers. So, the agricultural laborers who are working in rural areas, small as well as marginal farmers, also contribute to the income of our country. Whereas, if we consider the situation such as weavers, blacksmiths, carpenters, and goldsmiths, nearly 80% of rural households in India are in small and marginal farmer category. So these farmers need to be supported through adequate facilities. Adequate in the sense sufficient facilities for timely delivery of seeds. So if you are able to provide real seeds for the better yield of HYV seeds, high yield variety seeds, we can encourage organic farming. Thus, India becomes a healthy country, and thus we can become a developed country ultimately. As we all knew that agriculture is the backbone of our country, we need to focus on qualitative seeds, agricultural inputs, credit, storage facilities. We need to focus even on warehouses. If we have sufficient storage facilities, then it is reliable to make production and employment to be successful in the present generation and also in the future generations. Just let us take one example. If I ask you, what profession do you want to choose? Here is a question for you children. Pose this question to your conscience now itself. What do you want to become in future? Very few persons will say, I would like to become a farmer. Most of the children, otherwise the students, would like to prefer to settle a luxurious life either as software engineers or lawyers or doctors, moreover chartered accountants, so far. Am I correct? Are there any other options in your mind? It's not a big deal, but without farmer, are we able to get bountiful crops for our country? That is the point which we need to understand right now, as the title emphasizes production as well as employment. How many of you would like to become business magnates? Otherwise, would you like to construct a factory or an industry where you can give opportunity to many individuals so that you can convert unemployment into employment, where people may not move to certain villages or towns or cities for the sake of employment. They can survive in our country, and this provides income for our country. Thus, we can make India proud of all the aspects. So, organized sector need to be advanced. If we take Andhra Pradesh government, our Chief Minister Y.S. Jagannath Reddy started different schemes where the youngsters are getting opportunities in different fields. This is the best example where we can understand the change, the transformation leads to employment opportunities, where we can minimize the unemployment opportunities. So, where there is a demand, if we supply, then there is a balance between demand and supply. The goods and services on the whole becomes the income for that country. Technically, we can term it as GDP, gross domestic product, which we'll see in detail in the further topics. To be continued.